Hello everyone, my name is Debashish Roy. I'm the Senior Network Analyst at the Indian Cybersecurity Solutions, and I welcome you all to this special webinar. And today's topic is Cisco ISE, Cisco Identity Service Engine. We'll talk about the ISE infrastructure and also about the automation, as you know, because Cisco ISE is related to security, authentication, as well as the software-defined networking, SDN, and the automation. So let's discuss the automation first. What is the importance of automation in Cisco networking, and then we'll jump to the Cisco ISE infrastructure. So to talk about automation, we have to begin with MPLS, multi-protocol level switching, because without mentioning MPLS, automation cannot be achieved. Because nowadays, we are familiar with the traditional WAN services like the MPLS, like the lease line, VPN. These are the traditional services. Now, as you can see, this is an MPLS network architecture where you have the custom-based routers. There is a customer edge. Then it is connected to the provider edge network. That is a provided edge router, which is connecting to the provider routers. That is the main service provider network. And you are having that label edge router that is at the end of the customer edge, and PE, that is the provider edge boundary, and the labels are swapped. As we know that in MPLS, the labels are changed when the packets move from one network to the other network, from one LSR, label switching router, to the other. So this is the traditional MPLS network. I'm not going into the more details about it, but this is the traditional network we are accustomed to. But the problem of the MPLS, the downside, is the point-to-point connectivity should be optimized, and it is the point to point between the MPLS, not to the cloud. Means nowadays we have the cloud based applications or SaaS application with MPLS. So there is no way to directly access every cloud in case of MPLS. You are talking about the Office 365 nowadays or any other applications. So that is not possible in case of MPLS. That is a downside. Again, it requires WAN optimization to streamline the delivery, which adds extra cost. So it is definitely costly to set up the MPLS network everywhere in the world. It is definitely costly. Now you can use the cloud. So why to actually set up the MPLS infrastructure everywhere? It takes a long time to deploy, especially when office locations are spread across different states or countries. Maybe 6 to 8 months it will take. Then cost is high because of limited competition in the marketplace. So these are the downside. These are the disadvantages that you face in case of WAN infrastructure nowadays. That is why SD-WAN came. So software defined wide area network. So as you can see in the enterprise applications, mean the traditional WAN, every data is going towards the data center, that is the ISP data center here, not the cloud data center. That is the traditional WAN. And at the right side, you can see the applications access with the SD-WAN, where you have all the features, like you can have the traditional internet, like the ISP, you can have the cloud, you can have the data center of the cloud, as well as the data center of the ISP. So here everything is combined. It is not only one path, but there are several paths. And there you see the automation. There you see the controller based networking or the software defined networking. And there, to make the secure network, make the security of the automation, you have the ISE. So what are the differences between the traditional routing and switching planes? Management plane, control plane, and data plane. These were the three planes in the traditional traffic management. So management plane is for configuration and monitoring, typically done via the CLI or GLI or GUI. So if you want to say access the router and switch via the telnet or SSH or any other means, that is the management plane. Then each vendor has its proprietary way to configure its device. Control plane is for routing. Now, layer 2 protocols and control protocols like layer 3, the routing protocols, OSPF, RIP, BGP, EIGRP, these are all supported in control plane. And data plane is simple, the data forwarding inside the hardware from interface to interface. So these are the three operations. Now you can see in the traditional routing and switching. Now, in case of SDN, software defined networking or automation, you have this controller. Now, this controller is a device which has two interfaces. One is the northbound interface, which is obviously connected to the user interface, where you are pushing the script or the, say, the programming there with the JSON or Python. And the southbound interface is connected to the devices. Now you can see that the control plane is crossed there. It means that the devices will not do the control plane functions, like the routers will not do the routing. Then who will do? The routing will be done by the controller itself. And the data and management plane will be done by the devices, but the routing capability will be transferred to the controller. So you can see there are different applications to the northbound interfaces, and the controller here it is the APIKEM. APIKEM controller is responsible for SD-WAN, and the Cisco Catalyst Center, which was known as the DNS Center earlier, it is known for the SD access. Now in the southbound interfaces, there are Telnet, SSH, and SNMP. SNMP is not used so much nowadays. Nowadays we use mainly this Telnet, SSH, these things. Now you use the REST API, representation state transfer REST APIs to communicate with the devices, and it uses as an interface that enables applications or computer programs to communicate with each other. So in case of API, you can use like the Postman, you have that API. So you can install it, and you can also send some say verbs to the devices like the get, post, all this request. You can communicate directly with the devices with this API. It is used to expose functionalities and procedures to the outside world through a URL or service path. Now, REST API is an architecture style for designing a distributed system that actually gives guidelines for the structure and organization of an API for web service. And it uses either JSON or XML data format, and RESTful web services use HTTP methods to collect and manipulate data. It uses some functions that is known as the CRUD, that is the create, read, update, and delete. So there are some HTTP verbs there that is used by the REST API, like the get request for getting the data, put to upload the data this way. So this is the more precise architecture of the SD-WAN or the software-defined WAN. You can see that there are different planes like the orchestration plane, management plane, control plane, and data plane. Now vBond, that is a device in the orchestration plane, that is actually for the authentication. Now vManagement or the vManage, you can see in the management plane, that is the management interface. Say you are having a controller there, say you are having any ISE or anything like that, any controller, and there you have the management interface, that is a vManage. Then the control plane, there you are having the routers, that is in the, you can say these are the devices, these are in the control plane. And in the data plane, you are having the VH devices, that is in your customer network. So it is used in case of the data transfer in the data plane. So there are different devices there, and vSmart, that is there in the control plane. So this is about the architecture of the automation and the software defined networking, where you deploy the controllers, and ICE is part of them. So let's now talk about the ICE infrastructure. So Cisco ISE, that is the essential tool for network authentication and security in case of automation. Now we'll cover the fundamentals of Cisco Identity Service Engine, its key features, and what are the role it has in enhancing network security through effective authentication. So let's talk about the overview. What is the ISE? Cisco ISE is a policy management platform. It is a, you can say, a total security platform that enables organizations to enforce like access control, and it can facilitate secure network authentication. So it is, you can say, it is like the traditional AAA server, the authentication, authorization, and accounting. So the AAA server also authenticates, and it is also like that, but it is used in the automation environment. Now, ISE provides a centralized approach for managing network access policies based on user identity, device type, and security posture. So you can use different, say, device types. You can make some identities. You can make some policies. There is a lot of things that you can do in the ISE, and it's a very complex environment, and it requires a lot of resource. So in that case of automation, if you say go for ISE or any type of automation, any controller based networking, you should have like 632, even 64 GB of RAM or more it requires. So it is a very resource intensive operation. What are the key benefits and features? Cisco ISE offers a range of features and benefits that enhance the network security, like the centralized policy management for consistent enforcement, support for various authentication methods, such as it supports the 2.1x, that is actually in case of wireless it is used, mac authentication bypass and web authentication, all these things. And it integrates with existing security infrastructure as well. And also ISE also provides visibility into user and device activities, so it detects the threats and responds to the outside attack also. What are the deployment scenarios here? Cisco ISE can be deployed in various scenarios depending on the organization needs and policies. Like, what are the common deployment scenarios? It includes on-premise deployment and also the cloud-based. So you can do it on both. Either you're having the on-premise or cloud-based, integrating ISE with cloud environments. And hybrid deployments that combine both on-premise and cloud capabilities. Additionally, ISE can be integrated with existing infrastructure actually to enhance the network security while ensuring scalability and the flexibility of a network. Now, about the network authentication. Authentication protocols supported in ISE, like Cisco ISE, supports multiple authentication protocols to accommodate a wide range of devices. Now, the key protocols include 802.1x for secure wired and wireless access, MAC authentication bypass for legacy devices, and also web app authentication for guest access. So all these things, like the security posture it has in the Cisco ISE. And by supporting these protocols, ISE ensures the robust security measures also. Now, about the configuration of authentication policies, ISE allows administrators to configure detailed authentication policy, and it is tailored to different user groups and devices. So you can put the user groups and you can put the devices in groups, and you can implement the security policies for that. And like the controller, say the Cisco Catalyst Center or the DNS Center has a complete map of the network activities, network devices, and Cisco ISE has a complete map of the security of the organization. Policies can include conditions based on attributes such as role, device type, security, and this level of configuration helps ensure that only authorized user and compliant devices can access to the network. So any unauthorized access, it is prevented by Cisco ISE. Then what about the user and device profiling? Now, ISE's profiling capabilities enable organization to accurately identify and classify devices connected to the network. So you can see the complete picture of the network in the single management interface. This feature supports enhanced visibility and control by categorizing devices based on the type, operating system, and security compliance. So definitely this is going to redefine your security policies and response strategy of an organization. So we can conclude that Cisco ISE serves as a pivotal solution for enhancing network authentication and security, and it is more than the AAA authentication that you have traditionally. And with its robust features, including flexible deployment option, support for a variety of authentication protocol, and detailed policy configuration management, everything, organizations can significantly improve their security posture. So it will be very effective in managing access controls in their networks. So this is about the theory part about the Cisco ISE, and I've told you that Cisco ISE, you cannot just simply go to any, say, cloud environment, or you cannot do that, or you can not install it easily. You have to have a very high resource intensive servers for doing this automation or Cisco ISE environment. But alternatively, what you can do, you can actually go to the cisco.com here, and you can get a lot of information. Here you can search for the Cisco Identity Service Engine there, and you can learn about the benefits, what are the benefits of that, and what are the primary the license you require in case of the ISE. So it is not free. You cannot get it free. You cannot just download it from any other third-party site. That is not possible. So it is a licensed product of Cisco. And ISE Advantage license offers the following features: granular segmentation, dynamic policy enforcement. So all these things are done by the Cisco ISE. And you will also give overview. It is supported by Wi-Fi 7. Previously, it was Wi-Fi 6. Now it's Wi-Fi 7, and segmentation, zero trust network access. So these are the features of the ISE, and also the firewall enforcement. So Cisco ISE also acts as a firewall, security integration with ServiceNow and Microsoft Intune. So all these are supported in Cisco ISE, and you can see that this is the management plane of the Cisco ISE I was talking about. So if you implement it on your network infrastructure, So you will definitely see that you can see all the security threats there. You can monitor the network activities. Everything you can get in one shot. You can get. So you have to learn about this ICE here, how ICE is different, how it actually redefining the Cisco's infrastructure. It is integrating with the Cisco SD access. I was talking about the Cisco SD access, SD-WAN, Cisco umbrella, all these things. And it is to detect and respond to advanced threats and the comprehensive security posture it maintains. So you can learn all about this ICE, and you can click on the learn more, and you can go to overview. All these things you can learn about the different services that the Cisco offers, and you can click on the Cisco Identity and Service Engine here, and all these things you can see that it is supporting all the endpoints. It is monitoring IP phones, 25%, workstation, mobile devices, infrared devices, everything it has. So you can get a detailed understanding. Also it has a featured product documentation, so you can have a integrated learning solution here as well. And also you can get a lot more information about this zero trust architecture. What do you mean by that, and what is the different policies that you can generate with Cisco ICE, everything. But you have to implement it here, and you have to have the controller based networking there. Without the controller based networking setup, you cannot deploy the Cisco ICE. So this is actually about the future of your network, because as we know that cloud is the future and also the automation. So we are heading towards such a network where the user interaction will be totally useless. Means that it will be totally the automatic. The network will be totally dynamic. So these controllers actually are revolutionizing the network. Nowadays, we see the traditional routers and switches, they are slowly being replaced by the more modern and cloud-based and automation-based routers like the ISE XC series of routers. Nowadays, we do not use the traditional ISE routers more. So definitely in the coming years, I think in the Cisco studies, also in case of the say the CCNP and especially in CCIE environment, these are also changing. And in CCNA environment also, you are introduced with the automation, and it will be more and more helpful for you in the coming years. And also I think Cisco will introduce more and more automation related topics in the associate level, also in the professional and in the expert level as well. So this automation, this is codified networking, SD-WAN, this is actually revolutionizing the entire networking, not only the Cisco, but also the cloud like the AWS and Azure. That also you can see this automation. So this is about overview of the Cisco ICE, and I think you have gained very good knowledge about this Cisco ICE from this webinar. And definitely I think it will be very helpful for your future studies also. And because Cisco ICE is here to stay for a long time, if you follow the Cisco live events, you will gain more knowledge about the Cisco ICE infrastructure, and you have to set up the infrastructure to gain proper understanding and practical implementation of this feature of this tool of the Cisco. So I definitely hope that you'll be able to do that also. And yes, I thank you all for joining and watching this webinar once again. So that is all I have for now about Cisco ICE and the automation. I will come with some new topic next time. Till then, keep studying and bye.